What is your favorite animated superhero show? That's what I'm going to be ranking today. I'm ranking every single animated superhero show I've ever seen. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and even leave a comment if you want. Enough yapping from me though, here we go. At number 15, I have the Super Friends. This is a sillier show, but it does technically belong on this list. Not only that, this is the oldest show on this list. It came out in the 70s, and it isn't bad. There's only one season, but it's just the epitome of cheesy superhero material. Like I said, it's not bad, but doesn't hold up super well these days.
Spice and everything nice.
At number 14, I have the Powerpuff Girls. I was never big on the Powerpuff Girls growing up, but it just wasn't ever on the TV. I did watch it from time to time, and I did enjoy it when I did. It's funny, a little kiddie, but it's not terrible by any means. They have a huge variety of villains, which I always thought was super cool. It's just a fun kids superhero show.
He's a phantom.
At number 13, I have Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom was considered a superhero on many lists when I was doing the research, and that kind of surprised me. But it does technically meet the requirements. I think it was a really cool kid show, and it still holds up to this day. In my brain, it doesn't feel very superhero-like, which is why it isn't super high on this list. But I think Danny is a great character, his family's funny, and the villains were always pretty cool overall. At number 12, I have Ben 10. This is another one I didn't think of as a superhero show at first, but it feels more like it than Danny Phantom, actually, so here we are. The wide array of different aliens he could turn into was always super fun to me. I love watching a character upgrade right in front of our eyes, and he slowly but surely upgraded into one of the most powerful heroes on this list, if not the most powerful. His family's cool, the villains were always cool. I don't know, this was a cool show. At number 11, I have the Batman Caped Crusader. This is one of the newest shows I've seen on this list. I think it's good, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future. Them changing things about different characters was not a problem for me at all, and sometimes was used to further storytelling, which was cool. I love all Batman media, and this definitely didn't disappoint me. This is worth watching. There's only one season so far, but you should check it out.
Time.
At number 10, I have What If. Gosh, I like this show, but I really wish it lived up to its potential. The idea of having individual stories that shake up MCU plots would be phenomenal. But I think a lot of the ones they choose to do are silly and sometimes just don't really make sense. Like, I'm thinking of some of the Howard the Duck ones I've seen, or I guess specifically the one this season. It's just, I don't know, it wasn't very good. I'm hoping they get better with this show in the future because it truly has unlimited potential, and there are some cool comic book stories that they could go off of that just, I don't know, they're trying to do their own thing, but sometimes sticking with the classics is the move. At number 9, I have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, this show is the only one that isn't even through its first season yet. And my brother put it best when I talked to him about it, when he just called it fresh, which is really how it feels. I love how unique it feels when comparing it to other Spider-Man projects. It had its own story to tell, and the characters are different in it, making it feel completely its own. I really like Peter's friends and his mentor, and I just really think the show will go higher on this list the further it goes along. At number 8, I have Static Shock. Static Shock was such a cool show growing up. It felt so targeted towards teenagers, but it was still able to have some very real episodes. To this day, I remember the gun violence episode, and it still messes me up. It felt so ahead of its time with the different messages it had every episode. I loved how it handled topics like racism and violence, topics rarely touched on in children's shows, and definitely when they are touched on, not like this. Static Shock was a great show, and I hope you get the chance to watch it at some point. At number 7, I have X-Men 97. This show is newer, and it blew me away. I haven't seen enough of the original to rate it today, but this show stands out on its own. From the characters that they somehow make cool, like Gambit and Cyclops, who have always been kind of weenies to me, to amazing characters that they made even cooler, like Magneto. I don't know a ton about X-Men lore, so I didn't recognize the villains, but it was still very cool. My biggest complaint was the voice they gave Charles Xavier, but that feels like a nitpick. I really can't wait for Season 2 because I think it's going to blow everyone away. At number 6, I have Spider-Man. I didn't watch this show a ton as a kid, but when I did, it was pretty amazing. It had so many comic book stories that were adapted straight from the page to the show. It told intricate stories that lasted episodes, if not entire seasons, and really got the character of Spider-Man right. He's one of the most famous characters in fiction, and that was so important to get him right. One of the biggest problems I had was it ending on a cliffhanger, but other than that, this show is truly very, very good. At number 5, I have Young Justice. You'll find out very soon that I love superhero team shows. Young Justice did a great job filling that void for me after other superhero shows have long ended. It really focused on individual characters and characters that weren't quite as well known as some of the other superheroes. It even focuses on their origins sometimes. I love seeing this team learn and grow together and how the show evolved over time. This was a great show that is super fun to rewatch. At number 4, I have Invincible. Invincible is midway through Season 3 right now, and it's pretty great. This is one of the newest IPs on this list, and they did an amazing job creating it. They created a whole world from scratch with characters ranging from aliens to literal robot clones. I loved watching Mark grow throughout the series, and the twist ending of the first episode just drops my jaw to this day. I won't say anything more about that because I don't want to spoil anyone. But what I can say is that this show is super good and you should absolutely watch it right now. At number 3, I have the Batman animated series. This show had amazing standalone episodes, letting his villains get room to breathe, and it was perfect. You get to see many of their origins and what drove them to villainy. Batman is such an interesting character, and I don't think any other show or movie has flushed out his character as much as this show, to be honest. And the Batman animated series is a true testament to what superhero shows should be like. The show is phenomenal, it's older, but please give it a watch. At number 2, I have Teen Titans. This show has the greatest energy of any of the shows on this list. Teen Titans was such an unexpectedly great show. It's silly, deep, complicated at times, and an overall joy to watch. The 5 main characters really work so well together for the show, and they each get time to shine, and we get to see what's important to them and their origins. And that just is crazy to see characters fleshed out like that. It has a great cast of villains, especially their archenemy Slade, which he pops up a ton in the series. Altogether, this is an amazing show and will always bring me back to my childhood whenever I watch it. And at number 1, I have Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. Now, for the shows that truly show what a superhero can be, it's these. I'm putting these two together since it's technically a continuation of the original show, but with more characters. Where do I even start with Justice League? This is the most comic book accurate show I've ever seen. They take a scenario and throw 3 random heroes at the problem, and they all interact in such unique ways, and that's the episode. I love that characters like Booster Gold and The Question get their own episodes and stories. I love it isn't just the original group that gets the spotlight, but everyone else too. They know who the leaders are, but they're a team at the end. I love this show and the writing and the heart that comes with it. Nothing else has ever given me hope like watching this superhero show from the early 2000s. Who would have thought, animated or otherwise? I absolutely love this show and I implore you to give it a chance. But thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed it and leave a comment and tell me what you would have done differently. I really appreciate any bit of support you guys give me and I'm so happy that you're watching these. Have a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next video.